Hey Beastro fans, Jill here. It is another daily update. It's Sunday, May 3rd. I always have to look at the date. It's just a blur, but here we are a couple days into May. What an awesome weekend we're having. And I wanted to actually chat a little bit today about some allergy support. So I know spring and fall tend to be allergy season for a lot of us people and our pets. It's always interesting, especially this time of year. I know we've seen the jokes and the memes like, do we have coronavirus or do we have seasonal allergies? Because sometimes those things mimic each other. Viruses mimic sometimes what we have as runny nose and stuffy nose and hay fever type symptoms. So we're going to specifically go over some of those allergies that deal with pollen that are airborne. So there is a difference between we do have a little bit of a difference between respiratory allergies as well as food allergies. So most often we hear about food allergies when we have customers come in and they're looking to change their food, or the food that they're using is no longer working. It's either causing redness or hot spots externally. Sometimes we can see vomiting and diarrhea is part of that puzzle piece, but not always. It's usually more itching, scratching, ear infections, yeast infections, things of that nature when we're dealing more with food type allergies. When we're dealing with seasonal allergies or respiratory allergies, it's more often it happens in spring and fall. And we see that with the season change. And even myself, I went out to the backyard this morning. So Lewis and I were looking at making a chimichurri sauce to go along with our dinner. And last night when we went to the grocery store, they were out of oregano. And we have it growing in our yard, and I just didn't know how much it had come up yet. So I went outside to investigate. And just even this morning, the dandelions are in full bloom. We have all of our tulips in bloom. My colt's foot, which I actually make a honey cough syrup out of, is in full bloom. So we have a lot of pollen that's starting to circulate, and trees that have blooms on them are budding and they're opening. So these can really cause a lot of hay fever type symptoms and allergies and wheezing and sneezing and things like that. And if you start to open your windows, then it can also affect your pets in the home. Obviously, our dogs are outside a lot more than maybe our cats are, but they can still be affected, both cats and dogs, differently or the same when it comes to allergies. So I have a couple products here that I want to show you guys to kind of go over what maybe you can use at home without having a vet appointment, because I know most vet clinics are doing more emergency appointments only right now. So let's see if there's a couple things that maybe we can help out with for you guys. Jessica's saying that we're describing her symptoms, all of the above. So, well, believe it or not, Jessica, a couple of these products that I'm going to show you are actually human grade, so you could take them as well. Okay, so my first one here is by one of my favorite companies, Herbsmith. So Dr. Besant is a Chinese herbalist, a traditional Chinese herbalist. She's also a veterinarian. So she has formulated a great line of herbals that are based all on Chinese medicine. So if you look at the herbs that are in here, it's probably going to be herbs that are you're not familiar with because they're not North American herbs. They're going to be Chinese herbs. And this is recommended for seasonal allergies. So your spring and fall, your animal gets worse, then just like we do, the pollen goes in and affects our sinuses and the way we breathe and react to it. So this is fantastic. This is actually for cats and dogs. It is a powder. I will tell you, Chinese herbs can sometimes be a little bit more difficult with kitties because it is bitter. Some dogs even have a little bit of a problem with it. So most often you're going to have to mix the powders into something to get it into them. The next three items I have are actually all tinctures. So tinctures are something that come in either glycerin or an alcohol base. And these are great because I love these for cats or small dogs that are biscuits about getting things into. And it's a small amount. And most often, because these things come from herbs, your cats and dogs are actually more apt to take it. It's not like a medication that has like a prescription that's super bitter and synthetic, because this comes from a whole food source, an herbal source. Your cats and dogs are actually more apt to take this for you. So the seasonal allergy blend here, again, very descriptive, helps with spring and fall type allergies, is a blend of nettle leaf, licorice root, burdock, and eyebright. So here is a great simple blend for both cats and dogs. My other blend here for cats and dogs is more for your respiratory support. So it's cough, wheeze, and sneeze. So your cats and dogs are already actively having these issues, which this can go in and actually maintain and support the respiratory system throughout the whole summer months. So this you could maybe do, you could do these in combination, do this more spring and fall, this throughout the summer to support and help. And this one is also a blend of American herbs, which is mullein, coltsfoot, echinacea, elecampane, usnea, lobelia, myrrh, and licorice, and osha. And then the other thing that I like about what they do is this company, Earth Animal, they actually add in flower essence. So we have something, the herbs I just described to you or read out loud help with the physical respiratory system, where the olive flower essence, chestnut bud, and nasturtium are all for like the mentals. So if we think about it, sometimes when we get sick, we kind of get down in the dumps, or after a couple days you get irritated, and that irritation comes from either not feeling good, or you're always trying to get rid of the running snot or blowing your nose or dripping into your sinus cavity. Like that then plays a role in your mentals, and you can get kind of irritated and annoyed about it. Our dogs and cats, although they don't speak, sometimes we can physically see that they either, maybe they don't want to go on a walk, or they're showing you in a different emotional capacity about how they don't feel good. So this is something that I love about this company, is that they combine things to help with both the mental and the physical aspect of what is happening. Pear herbs, I pulled just straight nettle. Nettle is always a fan favorite. Nettle is a springtime herb that goes in and really helps remineralize the body, but it can also help offset some of that nasally type things that you're dealing with, which nettle is actually in combination in the seasonal allergies. So that one is one of the 4 herbs that is mixed into this formula. The last item I grabbed here is called Histoblock, and this is, Jessica, this one might be for you. So this is actually from Nature Sunshine. This is a company that encapsulates herbs for humans, but we use quite a few of their products for pets. You're not going to find a pet dosage on this bottle, but we can definitely help you out with that. You're going to find human dosage on here. But this one also has a blend of herbs. It's nettle leaves, quercetin, bitter orange, and bromelain. Which again, we heard nettle again. So this one is fantastic for hay fever type symptoms. It goes in, it supports the mucous membranes, it helps reduce allergies. We kind of refer to this as an all-natural Benadryl. We don't have the drowsiness from it. We don't have the chemicals. We don't have the long list of Benadryl, unfortunately, puts synthetic colorings and all sorts of other things into their ingredient panel that you're not going to find in the Histoblock. Very pure ingredients in a capsule. Some dogs, larger breed dogs, these are really easy to give. Humans obviously get easy to give. Smaller dogs, you can definitely open the capsule. Cats, you can open the capsule as well and do a quarter of a capsule a couple times a day to help with the sneezing, wheezing, hay fever type, runny eyes even, hay fever type symptoms. So we are rounding the corner, I think, into spring, where we're starting to see a lot more of these allergy type symptoms come up. So we definitely have options. You can give us a call. I'm always a fan of adding goat's milk. I don't think we can praise goat's milk enough. Raw fermented goat's milk can really help with going in and rebuilding the gut, which creates a healthy immune system. 80% of our immune system is in our small intestine. So if we have our immune system working properly and we have the correct nutrition in the body, a lot of times we see a lot less issues or some of these symptoms that, the coughing, the sneezing, the runny nose, the wheezing, the hot spots, the external itching, the ear infections, the yeast infections, all of those things actually drastically reduce when we get the right fuel in the body. I always tell people, you don't go buy a nice car and put water in the gas tank. You need to make sure you put fuel in the gas tank. And the same thing goes for us and our animals. We need to make sure that we put the right fuel in the body. And if we're not putting the right fuel in the body, then the body retaliates and shows us all of these outward symptoms of what is going on or incorrect in the body. So going in and correcting diet and nutrition and adding goat's milk and some of these other awesome nutrient-dense foods can actually rebuild the immune system, which then may lead to you needing less of the allergy type supports throughout the seasons and throughout the years. All right, so that kind of wraps up my daily update there for you guys. We got seasonal allergies on top of coronavirus, so hopefully everyone's dealing with allergies over the virus. But viruses are airborne, and we have them around, for a reason. So we just had a couple of quick comments. We have ER here saying hi, hello, glad you joined us today. Beverly says tree pollen allergies are very real. Yes, so absolutely. Histoblock. Nature Sunshine has a couple other allergy type blends, but Histoblock is what we use the most often around here. You could even combine this with some probiotics. Some good probiotics can always be really beneficial for the gut as well. And Jessica's apparently you use chasing her tail. What a goofy dog. Tell her to stop chasing her tail. Okay, guys, so that is today's daily update. Again, I want to remind you we have a free Froms gift with our local deliveries today. So we are continuing local delivery. Lewis has a route going out this afternoon. We are going to continue free same-day delivery through the state of emergency. So if you are within our delivery zone, it is free. If you haven't ordered from us yet and don't know about our delivery zone, I'm going to share here real quick our website. If you go up to the top and click on our logo, and if you click on the van here, free local delivery, you can see our delivery map at the bottom here. So all of the fees are waived. We have a giant map here of everywhere that we deliver to. If you're outside of a delivery zone and still in Michigan, we could probably meet you on the outskirts if that is something that you're interested in. I know it's getting a little warmer, so we have had to adjust some of our deliveries as well. Yesterday we had 165 quart cooler full of frozen food. So we're trying to maneuver that because we want to make sure that your food comes to your doorstep frozen. Up until now, the weather's been cool enough, but if you have frozen food, please leave a cooler on your doorstep or on your porch so that we can make sure that your frozen food gets in the cooler so it stays cold until you get home. I know a lot of you are already at home, whether working from home or whatever the reasons are with the coronavirus, but please, if you're going to be gone for the day or you still are working because you're an essential worker, please leave a cooler out. We want to make sure that your stuff arrives at the door cold as well. So one last quick comment here we have from Jamie. She says, my dog licks her paws a lot. What would you suggest is best? So Jamie, if you wouldn't mind calling us at the store, I have a few more clarifying questions for you, like how long has it been happening? How often does it happen? Is it only one foot? Is it only the front, only the back? And then what you've tried to reduce it, that might give me an idea of, is it more seasonal or is it something year round? And if it's year round, maybe it's something more environmental, either enclosed, or is it the grass? I know that sounds silly, but there's a lot of dogs that have grass allergies. So if you wouldn't mind, I put our phone number up here on the screen for you, 248-548-3448. Jen and I will be around today answering the phones, but we could probably, or if you shoot me a Facebook message, I could probably, I just need a little bit more clarifying information from you before I can, any of these would probably be great to start, but you might need something else in combination to help with that if it's been long term. So, all right, guys, thank you very much for joining me today. I will be back tomorrow morning. Don't forget, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. is my interview with Brian from Froms. So he is 5th generation in the company. I'm actually going to pull up let me just change my screen here real quick. I have some information about him here. He has a great bio on the Froms website. So if you guys are interested in learning a little bit more about Brian before our fun interview with him tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So he is 5th generation family member of Froms. He works alongside his parents. He's the brand director. He helps a lot with product development, creative direction, packaging, and him and his brother work alongside with the family. And we're really excited to be able to interview him tomorrow to learn more about Froms as a whole. So Fromm Family Pet Food has been a brand that we have been carrying for a long time. I would say over a decade we've had Froms in our store. So close to even probably when we opened. So I would say at least 14 years that we've had Froms in our store. So great family-owned company. We're going to talk to Brian here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. If you guys have any questions, please gear up for those. You're welcome to put them in the comments. So we will circle through the comments tomorrow and make sure all of the questions get answered. But I hope everyone takes some time today to go outside and enjoy the weather and make it a great day. Do something kind for maybe a family member or your neighbor. And we'll see you guys back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Have a good one.